Katy Perry, Gayle King, and Lauren Sanchez blasted off into space in an historic all-female space flight as they rode this huge phallic instrument of Jeff Bezos's into the sky as a blatant Amazon commercial disguised as female empowerment. God, this is so dumb.
We've got to get to Blue Origin because it's over the top. It's over the top what's happened with these women. We made fun of it on Monday because it was just so ridiculous the way some of the media were covering it, the way they were like self-congratulatory. They've gone next level, okay, since then.
What are you doing? Like, why? You know what I mean?
It's so crazy to me that people don't understand the backlash of these ladies going into space. It's the financial climate. People can't pay their rent or feed their children, and they're turning on their TV or looking on social media, seeing millionaires and billionaires go to space for 11 minutes. All of these ladies, it is cool. And it's awesome to see that we're going to space and that this is all happening and you have the right to spend your money however you want. But this is the response you're gonna get when people can't afford shit.
Is space tourism really the future, or is it just another rich person's plaything? Recently, Blue Origin launched a mission that was supposed to be a game changer for women in space. The mission, an all-female crew of celebrities, including Katy Perry and Gayle King, blasting off for an 11-minute joyride. What should have been a monumental achievement, however, quickly turned into one of the most overhyped and mocked events in recent history. Let's dive into the shocking truth behind this historic flight.
Just how insufferable and self-delighted can these ladies be? We had less carry-on when real astronauts stranded in space for months were rescued recently by SpaceX. These overprivileged ladies spent a total of 11 minutes floating around in their designer spacesuits, and now they think it's going to bring about world peace.
Yeah, Rita, you know, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the old John Lennon song, Imagine, otherwise known as the worst song ever written. I mean, John Lennon had this song back in the 1970s after the breakup of the Beatles, that it's going to be a world with no borders, no religion, just kumbaya, world peace there, you know, and apparently Katy Perry here and the ladies circumnavigating the globe in the year 2025 are trying to do their best John Lennon Imagine impression there. But I mean, what a bunch of just overindulgent, pure exhibitionism. I mean, that really is the word that comes to mind here. I mean, this
was supposed to be history in the making. The first all-female crew to launch into space, a feminist victory that would inspire girls everywhere to aim for the stars. Literally. The media called it a giant leap for womankind, and we were promised inspiring messages of empowerment. The stars were aligning. But wait, this wasn't going to be just any flight. No, this was a glamorous, high-profile adventure with celebrities at the helm.
1, 2, 3, take us space!
But I found this so pandering, so forced, so stupid to watch these rich, famous women go up into space because they're rich, famous women. Is there not more important stuff going on? Listen, I love the idea of more space travel. I do think we should invest in space through NASA, etc. But I am so sick of these billionaires, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, funding weird, rich space flights. I don't want to watch Gayle King go into space. I want to see deserving, actual astronauts go into space to advance us. My God.
But here's the kicker. The mission lasted only 11 minutes. That's right, just 11 minutes in space, 4 minutes of which were spent in zero gravity. Less time than it takes to watch your favorite TV show? How's that for a groundbreaking achievement? The internet wasn't exactly giving them a standing ovation. Instead, the reaction was a mix of confusion and disappointment. This wasn't the history we were promised.
About how many resources went into putting these women into space? For what? For what was the marketing there? And then to try to make it like, I'm disgusted, literally.
The montage of them about them. Let's watch.
Out there, it's dark. It's like death.
And I'm so proud of us. I really am proud of me.
Flowers for me, I believe, are like God's laughter and God's smile. And I brought a daisy because I have so much love for my daughter Daisy, and I have so much love for Mother Earth.
It just says to me, if I can do this, I was telling these guys, I might even now get my ears pierced. I've never gotten my ears pierced because that hurts.
I hope they can see the unity that we modeled and replicate that and understand that we weren't just taking up space, we were making space for the future. Yeah.
Oh my God.
10 out of 10 review.
Okay. I got one more I got to add to you. Gayle King, upset because there's been a lot of blowback, and I'll play it in a minute, but like from Hollywood leftists, not just people like you and me, but like Hollywood leftists. These are the people who are supposed to love them, who are ripping these women to shreds. It's beautiful. And Gayle King is upset and had a few things that she needed to explain to those of us who don't understand what a hero she is. Watch.
Please don't call it a ride. That is not a friggin' ride. Whenever a man goes up, you have never said to an astronaut, boy, what a ride. You know, we duplicated the same
An astronaut
trajectory that Alan Shepard did back in the day, pretty much. No one called that a
You're Alan
ride.
Shepard.
It was called a flight. It was called a journey, because a ride implies that it's something frivolous or something that's lighthearted. There was nothing frivolous about what we did. And the machine that we were on, and what it took for the people to get that machine up and running, to get us up and get us back down safely. So, you know, I'm very disappointed and very saddened by it. And I also say this, what it's doing to inspire other women and young girls, please don't ignore that. I've had so many women and young girls reach out to me, and men too, by the way, men too, that say, wow, I never thought I could do that, but I see you doing it at this stage of my life. Who would have thunk it? Not me. And how inspired they are.
Okay, there's so much to go over. First of all, Alan Shepard walked on the moon, Gayle. You did not fucking walk on the moon. Okay? You didn't do the same thing as Alan Shepard. And by the way, when he did his first space flight, it was the first space flight. Like, that's the reason it was exciting.
Not even Hollywood, the supposed biggest supporters of these women, were having it. The critics, many of whom are left-leaning, were quick to roast this mission. They expected a space adventure that would revolutionize women's place in science, but instead, they got a glamorous vacation for the ultra-rich. And who can blame them? This wasn't science. It was a PR stunt. They wanted us to believe this was about the future of space exploration, but in reality, it was a flashy spectacle with a celebrity twist.
It wasn't for commercial gain. It wasn't to promote Amazon. It wasn't with some woman with her tits hanging out who needed a little extra attention. Okay, so that's just first. Secondly, there's nothing frivolous about what we did. Let's just check in. We don't have to take her word for it. Let's see how it went on board the Blue Origin spacecraft. SAT 22, here they are in space.
Got it?
1, 2, 3, take us space!
Flynn, I got
with her daisy.
I got you, Flynn.
Gotcha.
Stuffed animals.
The moon! You guys, I will have to tell you, look at the moon. That's amazing.
Wow, look at the blue line.
Oh my God. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's amazing.
I can't. I can't get over. There's so much to talk about. Look at the moon. It's dark. Stace! There was nothing frivolous. I am like Alan Shepard, and I am inspirational. I'm proud of me. Good for me. That's the messaging coming back.
Right? It's so amazing. Like, they went to see space. We're supposed to see them, right? Like, they admired the universe, and what they were expecting was for us to admire the fact that they were rich enough and famous enough to have been granted this utterly, utterly vacuous experience from which they learned absolutely nothing.
Blue Origin marketed this mission like a major milestone for women's equality, a giant leap for womankind, they claimed. But what did we really get? A few minutes in space, followed by a media blitz that painted this as some sort of major breakthrough. It's easy to see through the PR machine. The real aim was to get people talking, not about space innovation, but about how cool and glamorous space travel could look for the super wealthy. This wasn't NASA. This was celebrity, tourism, wrapped in the shiny packaging of empowerment.
I mean, the message, frankly, like, I don't even fully understand exactly what the purpose of this stunt was. I mean, it's kind of like a United Nations, like hold hands together, kumbaya thing. It's also partially like a feminism thing. But frankly, I mean, when people do this in the name of feminism, they actually set real feminism and real genuine equality of the sexes backwards there. Because, I mean, if this is what people think of when they think of feminism, someone who gets dolled up and they put on the designer suits and the makeup. I mean, Katy Perry clearly spending more time actually getting her makeup ready than actually going up into the atmosphere, right? I mean, people see this and they're like, okay, if this is feminism, I'm gonna oppose it. So they're undermining the very cause they purport to champion there. Ultimately, all sorts of these stunts.
Think about, I know this is probably obnoxious, but like it's so much money to go to space.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
and there's a lot of people who can't even afford eggs.
We advance science today. More people are going to be able to do meaningful research with Blue Origin because we collected data. We contributed to the knowledge base of what people know about women. We flight qualified hardware so that more people could use our hardware to fly. It is bigger than the criticism. We are inspiring the world right now.
But not everyone was sold on the feminist narrative. Critics called out the absurdity of this feminist breakthrough. Why? Because this wasn't a mission for the masses. It was a luxury vacation for the ultra-wealthy. Celebrities like Katy Perry, in particular, were blasted for marketing space as a fun, glamorous activity, rather than focusing on the real challenges space missions bring. The question became, is this what we want to celebrate? Women on a one-off joyride? Or women who actually contribute to the advancement of space exploration?
It's got a little bit of a stolen valor feel to it.
Oh, yeah.
Where we revere our astronauts, our actual astronauts, who actually do put themselves in harm's way in order to forge new frontiers. And we've seen astronauts, actual ones, die in the name of this service. We've seen even civilians like Krista McAuliffe when, you know, people of my age were in middle school and we all watched that flight take off, the space shuttle, and burn in the air. It was horrifying. So there have been civilians to go up to. They wear actual spacesuits. They go through real training, not 2 days of learning how to buckle your seatbelt, which is literally what they did. That's what they're touting as their training. Buckling the seatbelt, getting in and out of the vessel, and learning how to press the button so they could speak to mission control. That doesn't make you an astronaut.
While the world watched in awe as astronauts like Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin made history by stepping foot on the moon, space exploration has always been about pushing the boundaries of human endurance and knowledge. Astronauts undergo rigorous training, spending months, even years, preparing for their missions, with some brave men and women spending 8 to 9 months aboard space stations, facing the intense isolation and challenges of space life. Yet here, we have a group of women who, after just 2 days of training, are calling themselves astronauts for an 11-minute space ride, a flight that barely lasted longer than a commercial break. It's hard not to question how this fleeting joyride compares to the real sacrifices made by astronauts who spend months in the void of space, risking their lives for scientific progress, not just for a quick Instagram-worthy moment.
Where is the sense that we owe something to the society that has made us so unbelievably wealthy? What are you giving back? What they are giving back is their celebrity, the right for us to admire them. Like, it is so despicable. It's not just women, although of course, like, women do this so much worse because we always expect to be admired, you know? But, you know, when the men did this, right? I forget who the billionaire, was it Bezos? Was it Musk? I don't remember who it was that went to space.
I think it was Bezos and William Shatner.
Right, he came back and he said, wow, you know, we're so small vis-a-vis the universe, like the most banal, like totally, like really you went to space, that's what you came back with. Yeah. And it's just like, these people are so bored, Megyn. They have no problems. They have nothing in their lives that they consider to be of value. And what's amazing to me is that it seems like Hollywood knows what time it is, even if these 5 women didn't, right? Like, you really did see people coming out and being like, what the heck is this?
Well, let me show some of that. I'm still stuck on the fact that Gayle King actually used the word astronauts in reference to, like, we're just like an actual astronaut. You are there on a vanity project of Jeff Bezos and his fiance. You've done absolutely nothing to deserve this. You're sitting next to Katy Perry. And if you don't want people to think it's frivolous, Gayle, then don't have the fucking Kardashians craft side as you take off, and Oprah. That might have something to do with our reaction to this as a non-serious event, a PR stunt.
But I like Katy Perry was like practically claiming the Nobel Peace Prize when she got out of the capsule.
Space is incredible, and I wanted to model courage and worthiness and fearlessness. You did really finding the love for yourself, because you got to trust in yourself on this journey. I feel really connected to that strong, divine feminine right now.
Did she want to hear us roar, or did she roar? Sorry, that's a joke.
The divine feminine. Laura, she's been in space for a good long time, and it's going to take her more than 11 minutes to get back. Here's the real problem. These ladies, God bless them, look, this is a commercial for space tourism. I get it. But these ladies are to astronomics what Stephen A. Smith is to presidential politics. I'm sorry, this is dress up and TikTok and Instagram moments. It is not anything authentic. It's not even really going to space. You just barely get over the line.
In the case of the Blue Origin mission, the passengers were part of an 11-minute suborbital flight with no real mission objectives other than experiencing weightlessness and a brief ride to space. The FAA, Federal Aviation Administration, does not classify them as astronauts because the flight was piloted entirely from the ground, meaning the passengers did not actually have control of or significant interaction with the spacecraft during the flight. So, under current standards, they likely don't qualify as astronauts because the flight was piloted from the ground and the passengers didn't operate the spacecraft. However, as the space tourism industry evolves, this definition may continue to shift. It's possible that in the future, space tourists could be officially recognized as astronauts by a different set of standards, particularly if they participate in more advanced missions that involve more than just a brief ride. What do you think? Does the FAA's stance seem fair, or do you believe that anyone who makes it to space should be considered an astronaut? So, was this mission really a victory for women in space, or was it just another way for the ultra-rich to feel important? The backlash to this 11-minute PR stunt was swift and harsh, but maybe it was justified. Space tourism, especially when marketed as a feminist victory, raises some serious questions about who this industry is really for. Was this a giant leap for womankind, or just a marketing gimmick? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.